Hi guys, I'm India, and today I'm going to be talking about the 7 principles of leave no trace, as well as hand signals you can use to help remember them and help teach them to other people. They're really easy for remembering the 7 principles, but also if you're teaching it to children, it's super fun and a great interactive way to teach them about nature and how to keep it safe. So what is leave no trace? Leave no trace was created to protect nature, and whenever people are in the outdoors, to have these guidelines to follow to lessen our impact on the wilderness, and basically to keep the wilderness wild. It's so we don't leave a lasting impact and can preserve nature as much as possible, because it's something we want to enjoy, but we want future generations to be able to go out and enjoy as well. And it's also just really to make nature as accessible as possible to people of all ages. So let's get into it. Something really important about the hand signals that I'm using is for the 7 principles, the number of fingers I'm using in each of the hand signals corresponds to the number of that principle. Okay, so principle number 1 of leave no trace is plan ahead and prepare. So for this hand signal, you do 1 because it's the first principle, and this is going to be your pencil, and then you have a notepad, and you're planning ahead and preparing, and you're writing a list. So what it is know the regulations of where you're going. Make sure to check kind of their up-to-date rules, especially right now with COVID going on. Some trails are closed, some are open, and there's a lot of just changing regulations. This goes for all the basics as well, for fire, for if you need to bear bag, basically just any rules you need to follow and what's up to date with them. Also, plan ahead and prepare for extreme weather and any weather or emergencies. This is just general safety, planning on what you're going to wear, just that kind of general things. Schedule your trip in advance. This is also really important to avoid high times of use, and will honestly be more fun for you hiking as well when it's not super crowded. Repackage your food ahead of time. We have a whole nother video we're going to do on this as well. This is super important to avoid any extra waste and trash on the trail, especially when you're planning on backpacking. You don't need a whole box of food. You can plan ahead for like serving sizes. It'll make it easier to cook, and again, reduces any waste that you're gonna be taking with you. And then also use maps, compass, or GPS to avoid the use of cairns or flagging. Many trails will already have the white rectangles on trees and stuff like that. But when you make cairns or flagging in general, it is still disrupting the nature around you and changing and leaving a trace. So do your best not to make those yourselves and to just use maps and GPSs. Okay, so for principle number 2, it is travel on durable surfaces. So for our hand signal, we have 2, and then this is going to be your ground and the durable surface, and then these are going to be your hiker's legs, and you're walking on durable surfaces. So this means on maintained trails, designated campsites, rocks, sand, or gravel trails. Basically anything that is durable and when you walk on it isn't going to deteriorate. So the point of this one is to make sure you're camping at least 200 feet from any source of water or lakes. This reduces any contamination of water and keeps kind of your inhabitants away from that. It is also, when there's a popular campsite area, using what is already created. You don't want to be creating your new campsite. But this is also concentrating your camping area as much as possible to not cause as much of an impact. A lot of times you'll see the dirt and ground kind of start to leave a mark when there's a lot of heavy camping. If it's a designated campsite, this is okay because it's where it is, but you don't want to continue to grow the worn down ground. Also, when there's a popular campsite area, walk single file on trails. Again, you just want to reduce as much as possible the amount of wear you have on the ground. And on heavily trafficked areas, this is really important, especially if it's bad weather conditioning, still staying single file to, again, reduce the deterioration of the ground. In pristine areas, which is basically things where you do like cowboy camping or things where you're not on a designated campsite, this is to actually spread your campsite out as much as possible. Again, for the same effect of not trying to deteriorate the ground you're on, and to make those worn circles you usually see at heavy campsites. So you want to, spread it out as much as possible, and also not damage any of the grass or other agriculture in that area, and try to just not have an impact. Principle number 3, this is dispose of waste properly. This is really important when you're in outdoors for any amount of time, and just being aware. So for the hand signal for this one, you're gonna take your 3 fingers, and this is gonna be your trowel. You're gonna dig, it's like digging a cat hole, and this is dispose of waste properly. So what this means is essentially pack it in, pack it out. This is really well known, a good saying. So anything you're bringing in, whether it be trash, food, camping materials, clothing, anything, whatever you bring in with you, you're gonna pack out. That is also trash, even any food scraps that while you're cooking fall on the ground, you need to clean it up and take it out with you, not to leave a trace. So again, food scraps or any waste created while cooking, that's important not only so you don't leave a trace, but also to not attract animals to your campsite, as that can be really dangerous. And also the one that everyone always questions is how to use the toilet and those type of facilities. So utilize any facilities that are available if you're at a campsite, and any privies that are already set up. But if that's not an available option, you have to dispose of human waste by digging cat holes. Cat holes, you will take your trowel and you have to dig it 6 to 8 inches deep, and make sure, again, it's 200 feet from any campsite and from any water source. So making sure that you're not near anything or where anyone's going to be eating or cooking, or any water source that can be contaminated. And then once you're done, you have to cover the cat hole when you're finished. A lot of times you'll need to pack out your toilet paper, so you can get a blue bagging kit. And once you're done using the bathroom, pack the toilet paper out with you. Even though there are some places with biodegradable toilet paper, it's really just the best option, again, to leave no trace, to take it with you. Some campsites, again, going back to the previous rule of planning ahead, prepare, that's the first rule, is really checking regulations. Some areas will actually ask you to pack out human waste as well. So again, for that is more of a blue bagging system, and just being aware of what you need to do. This is also for hygiene products, so tampons or pads, pack it out with you, and don't litter it. And then for washing up or bathing, this is also 200 feet from water sources and camp sources. And when you have suds, like camp suds or soap, or any liquid food waste, that is when your cleaning is with that, making sure that you're using, first of all, biodegradable suds, and then also scattering the dirty liquid around so it's not concentrated in one area. Okay, principle number 4 is leave what you find. So for a hand signal for this one, you can use 4 fingers, and what is going to be 2, 2, and you can make a camera. And you can pretend you're taking a photo. So you're making a little camera lens. Some people also call it like a picture frame, if you want to hang a picture. But leave what you find. This is super important. We want to preserve history. Not only are we preserving our nature by not touching it and not bringing things in or out, but we're preserving the history of the people that were here before us, of the animals, of just past generations. So observe and photograph. Feel free to take as many photos as you want of beautiful nature, of cairns, of anything you see, but just don't take it with you. This also goes for not touching any artifact or cultural or historical structures. A lot of the time, if you're out west here, you can also see engravings that are so amazing, but you don't want to touch these. You really want to preserve anything that you find in the history that's been left for us to see. This is also leaving rocks, plants, and other natural objects. Again, just don't disturb the wildlife, and don't build any structures like cairns or dig any trenches. Okay, principle number 5, minimize campfire impacts. This hand signal is a fun one. These are your 5 fingers, and this is your campfire. So just wiggle them around like some flames. All right, so campfires can cause a really lasting impact, but they're honestly some of the most fun and enjoyable moments when you go camping, either with friends or family. Going back to rule number one, again, check regulations, make sure that you're up to date on if they allow campfires, and some places don't, so be aware of that. But again, like I said, they can cause a lot of impact. So instead of relying on a campfire, try to use a lightweight stove for cooking, and if you can, LED lanterns instead of ones with flames on them is a really good way to do it. When there are permitted fires, try to use pre-established fire rings whenever possible, or fire pans or fire mounds. A lot of campsites that are heavily trafficked will use these already, and make sure that you're using them. They're there for a reason. They're there for people to enjoy, and it's to, again, not make an impact on making your own fire ring anywhere else and just leaving more of a trace. Keep fires really small and avoid taking any bark from a tree. So when you are making a fire, make sure you're only using dead wood and only found on the ground. Even if you do believe that there is dead wood on a tree, do not strip it. You can bring your own firewood if you can. Sometimes places will have you buy firewood from them, again, to avoid people stripping trees. And when you do make a fire, make sure you burn it all the way. So burn all the wood and coal to a complete ash, and then put the campfires out completely. You can allow that ash to cool and then disperse said ash and spread it out so you don't leave a mound of ash. Okay, number six. Number six is respect wildlife. This is another really fun hand signal. So again, 6 fingers, and you do 3 on each hand. Then you can put them up and make some antlers. So this is a really fun one, easy one to remember. Observe wildlife from afar. It's part of being out in nature. It's part of backpacking, hiking, and it's super exciting to see animals. But you want to keep your distance and don't ever approach them. Leave them, they're in the nature, they're doing their own thing, and you really just don't want to disrupt them. This is also really important to never feed animals. Feeding animals, whether it be scraps or like from your meal cooking, it completely damages their health and also disrupts their natural behaviors, and it also exposes them to predators and puts the animal in danger themselves as well. So never feed them, and really just try not to go near them. Like some of the other rules before, observe, don't touch, and you can feel free to take a photo, just don't get too close. Also, it's really important to protect yourself from wildlife and from other animals by bagging your food. Animals are often attracted by the scents of your food or even your wash kit. So if you have any toiletries with you, make sure that you bag it and then hang the food. This goes for different areas. Some require it, but it's really important to bag it and secure it, and store it safely away from your camp. Either just leaving it or hanging it. And this also goes for trash and wrappers as well. So again, just keeping it away from the animals and away from your campsite so you don't attract bears or anything else to where you're staying. And also avoid wildlife completely during really important times. So this goes times of mating, nesting, or when they're raising young. So if you ever see an animal with cubs or their babies, do not go near them. They'll be really aggressive. And then also during the winter, it's really best to just stay away from them. All right, and our last principle is be considerate to other visitors. So this is number 7, and this is so important. And the hand signal for this one is gonna be a 5, and then 2, so 7, and you're gonna do a peace sign and you're gonna wave. So being considerate to other visitors. This is really important. Nature is for everyone. Like I said before, it's really for all ages, everyone to just enjoy and be outside. It's something that we all have access to or should have access to. And it's kind of what we live on. This is our earth, this is our nature, and it's beautiful and fun to be in. And so you want to make it as good of an experience for others as you do for yourself. So respect visitors and the quality that they have of their experience. This can be being courteous to hikers, so whenever you're on a path, step aside and let them go and have their right of way. And also take breaks. That's like needed. So whenever you take breaks, Try to camp away from the trails and try to camp away from other visitors to give them their space and have your own space, and just prevent overcrowding. Also, just avoid loud noises and loud voices. You are outside, you can have fun, you can listen to some music, but if you're around other people, don't do that. Try to keep it quiet, try to just have your own conversation, and really let the sounds of nature prevail. You know, you're in nature, you want to listen to it, you want to hear what it has to say, and again, you just want to make it a really enjoyable experience for others and not just yourselves. So yeah. So I hope you guys learned a lot. These are always really fun. We can do a quick go through of all of the hand signals again. So number 1 is plan ahead and prepare with your list. 2 is travel on durable surfaces. So you're walking on durable surfaces. 3 is basically dispose of waste properly. Again, you're digging a cat hole with your trowel. 4 is leave what you see, observe and don't take anything. 5 is minimize campfire impacts, so your campfire and preserving what's around you. 6 is protect wildlife, always a really fun one. And then 7 is be courteous to other people on the trail. So I hope next time you guys are in nature, you can enjoy it and just keep these in mind, and follow these rules to guide how we can better preserve the nature we have. Bye guys.